Today, a journey comes to an end. One that has seen me play in this world for 1200 days. In this video, we spend 100 days improving this world and preparing it for Minecraft beta. But before we can start with day 1, we must update to alpha 1.2.1_1. In this video, we'll be updating through 12 versions to get to beta 1.0. And once I craft this clock, we'll have everything we need to begin. And with the sun risen, I make my way to the storage room and collect all that I'll need to craft a massive amount of torches. Ever since I built this tree in episode 2, my mob farm has neglected to work correctly. Mostly because of all the unlit branches. Lighting up the branches was going very well until I decided to try out some parkour. Oh well, I collected my things and got back to lighting branches, and well, a few minutes later, I happened to do the exact same thing again. Gosh, I gotta quit doing that. So I collected my items once more, and then got back to lighting up branches. The rest of day 1 went relatively uneventfully, and before I knew it, day 2 had arrived. Day 2 came and went with relative ease. Compared to day 1, I didn't die a single time, and managed to get a significant amount of torches placed on the branches. Day 3. You see, that's what I'm trying to prevent. Creepers. The rest of day 3 went pretty well, other than me falling off and dying a third time. I had lit up most of the easy-to-reach branches and slowly made my way towards the less convenient ones, building dirt pillars to access them. This continued into the night and on into day 4. The next day played out very similarly. I lit up a significant portion of the remaining branches, and was only interrupted by death a single time. Great. Leading me to collect my items and light up a few more branches before the day's end. Day 5 would see me light up some of the hardest to reach branches and the highest peaks of the tree, as well as the completion of this tree lighting project. After watching the sunrise, I headed to the storage room, made some more axes, and cut down and replanted my tree farm. I ended off the day by starting the process of turning the tree from just an empty shell into a fully featured build, with an interior and everything. On day 7, I continued building the boat tunnels, and then moved on to the interior of the tree, building the first floor and lighting it up. On the morning of day 8, I fixed some of the lighting on the first floor, finishing the first of 5 floors, and then moved on to digging out a new area. That's definitely it. That's funny. I like that. And with the end of day 8, it was finally time to update for the first time to alpha 1.2.2. The morning of day 9, I figured out that the arch for this tunnel that I just dug was in the wrong location, meaning that I had to go back, change the placement of the arch, and correct the tunnel, as well as filling in the extra area I had dug out the day prior. I ended off day 9 by making sure all of the other arches were correct. Day 10, I made axes, harvested the tree farm, replanted, and then started the second floor in the central tree. The next day I finished the second floor, built the entire third floor, and started on the 4th. Day 12 would see me finish the 4th and 5th floors, and start remodeling the original base. This base was once a fenced-off shack on a sandy beach, but now it's a treehouse. Day 13 would see me finish the remodeling of the original base, adding a staircase and replacing a few blocks, as well as finding a branch that I neglected to light up in the first 5 days. And after that, I went back to mining the second entrance to the southeast area. That continued into the next day, eventually finding me with a bunch of lava to clear out. And of course it took most of the day, and right at the end of the day I ended up dying from it. Yep, it got me. Respawn point. Day 15. Time to go get my items. And of course there's a creeper over there. It's gonna happen again. I just don't want to deal with lava anymore. That's all. Hopefully there won't be creepers this time. Let's see if I can make it to the water before I die. Ooh, food, that'll be useful. Yep. The rest of the day was spent clearing lava. On day 16, I took a break from clearing lava to go create another portal illegally. This version of the game is kinda special because it introduces something that I can only do in this version, and that's spawn another portal out of thin air, like this. Nether. In this version you can spawn nether portals with the F4 button. That's the only one I'm gonna spawn, since it's the last day I'm gonna be spending in this version. Well, now that I've done that, time to go back and finish up clearing that lava. Once that was done, I moved over to the other entrance and started the process of connecting them. And with the end of that day, it was time to update again to the second version of Alpha 1.2.2, one that does not include the portal button. On day 17, I would continue digging, eventually finding lava and starting to clear it. The next day, I would continue clearing lava till this happened. I'm not gonna make it to water. That's my last food. Oof. And then it happened again. I did it again. Great. I'm getting a bucket of water. And armed with that bucket of water, I continued clearing lava. This is why I don't like lava, because it's hard to deal with. On day 19, I harvested the tree farm and replanted it. On day 20, my water bucket came in handy. Then I cleared some more lava till this happened. There goes all my stuff. Okay, not all of my stuff, just all the important parts, like my clock. Oh, now it decides to go away. With a new clock in hand, I continued clearing lava. On day 22, I finished removing that massive lava pocket and continued digging the tunnel. The next day, I would end up finding more lava in the tunnel, leading to this situation. Great. At least I didn't lose any items this time. And after that, I would end up connecting the two entrances, creating a square loop. On day 24, I would journey outside of the dome for the first time during the 100 days to replace one of the 12 cobblestone rings surrounding my base with logs. After that, I lit up the height limiters on the tree farm. I would attempt to update to Alpha 1.2.3 only for this to happen. This glitch means that I can't play on 1.2.3 in my world, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to skip to 1.2.3_01. On day 25, I lit up the arches, found out my spawn point's location, -145, 156, sounds good to me, and started to light up the trunk of the tree, which I would finish the next morning, then moving on to collecting and replanting the tree farm, which stretched into the next morning. The truth is, I've been procrastinating this whole time. One of my goals is to completely dig out the area at the center of this loop. This continued into the next day, and the day after that, before I would ultimately find more lava to clear. Oh great. Moo. Day 30, I would figure out a method for removing lava relatively safely and quickly. The next day, I would finally break through to the other side of the loop, leaving me with only about a third of the area left to dig. On day 32, the digging would continue, seeing me almost completely finish the area. The next day, I would finally finish digging out the area. After that, I took a break and played with the fishing rod that had been sitting in my inventory since the beginning of the video. And once I was done with that, I started to chop down the tree farm again. That stretched into the next day, and after I replanted, I took a break and figured out the location of the 4 corners of my base, or the 3 that I had at the top. On day 35, I started building the supports for the giant glass dome, completing one and starting the second. Sunrise, day 34, I want to say, 36? I can't remember. Oh well. After that, I got back to building the support, finishing it. And then I went back to the southeast area and started replacing the floor with dirt. The next day, I continued replacing the floor with dirt, eventually getting 2/3 of the way done by the end of the day. On day 38, I would finally finish replacing the center's floor with dirt. And then I prepared to build more supports for the dome. After that, I lined the dirt patch with a border of planks. On day 39, I would start building one support and eventually fall off. Didn't expect this, but it's kind of a cool view. But after finishing that support, I would start on the second east to west support. Building the support would continue into day 40, and once I was finished with that, I lined the northwest area with planks in a similar manner to the southeast area. Then I went back to the southeast area and started replacing the loop with dirt as well. The dirt placing would continue into day 41 until this happened. Didn't expect that. Kinda scared me. I hope my clock survived, and my bucket of water. Everything else I don't really care about too much. Nope, never lucky. And then after that, I placed more dirt. I was supposed to update to the next version on day 41, but I forgot, so I'm doing it now. It's another version of Alpha 1.2.3_01. Nothing really changes. On day 42, I would finally finish the dirt loop. And after that, I started tilling the soil and planting the seeds. Yes, this is going to be a big wheat field. The next day, I would make 2 ugly brick things and continue planting the farm. On day 44, I would build one more support for the dome, and then I would start harvesting the tree farm. After finishing that the next day, I would place down all the water I needed for the wheat field and continue spreading the seeds. On day 46, I built another support for the dome, and then tried to remove as much grass from the farm area as possible. On day 47, I would continue removing the grass, eventually leading me to figure out a new placement for the torches. in the ceiling rather than in the field. Then I fenced off the farming area to prevent mobs from trampling the crops. The next day I decided that the new torch placement would be fantastic, and I continued moving them. And after that, it was finally time to update yet again, this time to alpha 1.2.3_02. On day 49, I finished the mood lighting for the farm and finished removing all of the grass. Then I started planting the field again. The next day I finished planting the seeds that I had, then I started to harvest my wood farm. Halfway done. Now to do that all over again, day 51. And after finishing collecting and replanting the trees, I moved on to start digging the southwest area loop. On day 52, I started building 2 supports, finishing one and getting halfway through the other. And after I watched the sunrise, I finished the support I was working on and went back to digging out the southwest area loop. That continued into day 54. Until the end of the day when I decided to go back to the southeast area, only to discover an incursion of grass in my farm. The next day, I placed some cobblestone down to prevent the grass from spreading. I then harvested and replanted the farm, and after that I went back to the southwest loop and started digging out the other entrance. This continued throughout day 56, eventually allowing me to turn the corner and mine back towards the other end of the loop. Time to update again. This time to alpha 1.2.3_04. On day 57, I finished digging the southwest outer loop. Then I would head back to the southeast area and start digging out coves for some sugarcane farms. During the process, this happened. But that was a mistake. Well, guess it's all gone. And once I re-equipped myself, I continued. The next day I would finish building the coves for the sugarcane by adding water and dirt. And the next morning on day 59, I planted the sugarcane that I had. Then I harvested the tree farm. On day 60, I started building more supports for the dome, falling off of the first one that I tried to build. Oops. And finishing the second. After that, I harvested and replanted the sugarcane, then started replanting the trees, and after finishing that the morning of day 61, I went back and constructed the rest of the support from the day before that I didn't finish. Then I harvested all of the crops and started to replant them. On day 62, after finishing replanting the crops, I switched to improving my mob farm, modifying it to perform similar to the second mob farm. On day 63, I continued improving my mob farm. Then I would almost die to gravel. Then more improvements. I would finish the improvements the next day and test them some. Then I would go harvest some sugarcane, and after that, I started digging out the center of the southwest area. And with that, it's time to update again, this time to alpha 1.2.3_05. On day 65, I would mine a little bit more in the southwest area. Then I would start smelting cobblestone into stone so that I can remodel the 12 outer rings. And after that, I harvested the tree farm. The next day, I would journey outside of the dome, remodel the south-southeast ring, and almost finish remodeling the south ring. On the way back in the dome, I spotted a few branches I'd neglected to light up. I then went and lit those branches up. And after that, I replanted the tree farm. On day 67, I finished the south ring, almost got blown up by creepers multiple times. Dang it. Then I got the majority of the south-southwest ring done. After that, I started to smelt some more stone in the furnaces, and then came to this realization. Oh, that's why there were so many creepers. This is the version where only creepers spawn. Then I collected some sugarcane. On day 68, I repaired the creeper damage from the day before. Then I would finish remodeling the south-southwest ring, and remodel the entire west-southwest ring. After that, I figured out a way to remove the last of the torches from the ground in the farm area. Day 69. I would almost get blown up by a creeper again. After that, I discovered that my inventory button was reset to I. Then I fixed the damage. After that, I remodeled the west ring and the west-northwest ring. And once I was done with that, I went back to the southwest area and started digging it out again. That continued into day 70 before eventually lava would kill me. Well, goodbye. And once I recovered from that, I would go mining again, only for it to happen yet again. It's gonna happen again. Day 71. Time to go get my stuff. And after that, I would continue mining, having a few close calls, and eventually going and getting a water bucket. Dang it. I need to start carrying my water bucket with me again. Although that bucket wouldn't be much help in this situation. I'm genuinely annoyed. Okay, most of the good stuff survived. And my torches too. That's good. And once I was done with that, I got back to mining, eventually finding a few shiny blue rocks. Ooh, shiny. The next day, I harvested and replanted the tree farm, and then prepared to remodel more rings. Then it was time to update for the 9th time, this time to alpha 1.2.4_01. In this version, all mobs can spawn again, not just creepers. Day 73. New version, new day, new problems. And my inventory button set wrong again. And after that I improved the north-northwest ring, the north ring, and I placed the stone for the north-northeast ring. And after that I harvested and replanted some crops. The next day played out very similarly. I would finish the north-northeast ring and start to place stone on the east-northeast ring, out in the water. And once the sun set, I turned to harvesting more crops, and then replanting them. On day 75, I would finish the east-northeast ring, go and make sure that my mob farm actually was improved by my modifications. It seems my modifications work. And then I mined out some of the southwest area. The next day I would place as much stone as I had on the east ring, and after that I started smelting more stone, and once that was going, I started to harvest the tree farm. On day 77 I finished collecting the wood, then I started smelting even more stone, then I replanted the tree farm, and after that I harvested and replanted some crops. On day 78 I finished the east ring, then I started placing the stone for the east-southeast ring, and then I went back to the wheat fields and harvested and replanted some of the wheat. On day 79 I would complete the east-southeast ring, and with that all 12 rings have been remodeled, so I go and check and make sure all of them are done correctly. Then I go back to the southwest area and start mining again. The next day would be spent entirely by mining out more of the southwest area. Then it was time to update yet again. The second to last version we play in this video will be alpha 1.2.5. On day 81 I would continue mining out the southwest area. On day 82 I would build the 11th support for the dome. And after that I went back to mining out the southwest area. The next day I would harvest and replant the tree farm. And on day 84 I would build the final support. Now all 12 are completed. And then I went back to mining more of the southwest area. That would continue into the next day and would lead me to clear out some more lava, this time being careful not to ruin the window I had on the outside. on day 86 I would finally finish mining out the southwest area, and after that I started to go around the entire base, replacing any dirt and gravel with stone. That would continue into the next day. Ooh, shiny. And in the process, I made some windows for some diamonds that I found in the ground, and for the other side of the lava window. Great. On day 88, I would finish replacing the dirt and gravel with stone in the southwest and southeast areas. And after that, I went up to the top of the dome and started lighting up all the newly spawnable blocks I added. And with that, it was finally time to update to the final version of Minecraft Alpha, Alpha 1.2.6, the last version of Alpha we will ever play in this world, and the 11th in this video. Day 89. I would light up the upper section of the dome, and then I would get some stone and start replacing the dirt and gravel in the northwest area with it. And after that I collected more sugarcane. On day 90 I would remove sections of 2 dirt rings that I used to build the first few layers of the dome. And after that I went back to the northwest area and continued replacing dirt and gravel with stone. The next day I would finish removing the 2 dirt rings from around the base of the dome. And then I would move to the storage room to perform the same dirt and gravel replacement in it. And after that I would go up to the top of the dome and light it up more. And while I was up there I spotted 2 branches that were still not lit, so I went and brightened them. On day 92 I built and tested the first of 4 new entrances to the base. Let's see if this works. Yep, and once that was done, I started to harvest the tree farm for the very last time in this 100 days. That continued into the next day, and once I was done with that and the replanting, I moved on to preparing each of the 3 corners still remaining for their entrances to be added. On day 94, I would install the southwest entrance with relative ease, before moving to the southeast entrance, deciding to work on it during the night. I built it in the wrong spot, leading me to make many mistakes. After digging a ladder hole, found it. The next day I took a small break from that to smelt some stone, and then I started working on the southeast entrance again, eventually finishing it. On day 96 I would build the final of the 4 entrances. And then I would prepare to move a few important items to my item museum, the one that I built last episode. On day 97 I finally moved those important items to the museum, giving them each their own chest. After that I added the signs for all of the versions of Alpha that I've played in this video thus far, and once I was done with that I went back to the main base, sealing up the hole in the dome that I've been using to enter and exit it for its entire year and 8 months of existence. And then I removed the east catwalk, which I placed down in December of 2021 at the very beginning of the world. On day 98 I started removing the OG base's basement, which had been there in one form or another since the very first night of this world. At one point it was my storage room, and then after that it became a mob farm once I started digging out this base, and it got blown up by creepers many times and just thrown together with whatever materials I had. It was also the access to this staircase, which I'm also removing, which was the first staircase down to my first strip mine. And while removing these stairs, the invisible stairs made a triumphant return. They're back. Y'all get to stay, at least for a little while. And once I was finished removing them, I went back and removed the second catwalk that I used to align the circle that this base is based off of, all the way back in December of 2021. The next morning, on day 99, I decided that I wanted to try and fill in this wheat field. With a little less than 2 days to do this, I was unsure if this was even possible. Although once I got started, I ended up getting a decent amount done. And with that, the final day is upon us. Day 100. With the farm fully harvested and replanted, I came to discover that I didn't have enough seeds. So I grabbed the closest hoes around me and started hoeing the grass. I didn't know whether or not I would be able to finally plant this field to its full capacity, but I did end up finding enough seeds to do so. With that done, I found myself with some extra time before the end of the day, and a sudden burst of energy that motivated me to fix a few small things that I had left on earlier days. So I collected the necessary items and went back to replacing a few patches of dirt and gravel that I had missed in earlier days with stone. And then I prepared for the end, the last moments of the 100 days, only for me to see one glaring issue. There was something else I could remove. So I quickly gathered the necessary tools and removed what's left of this 3x3 tree farm. And once that was done, I rushed to the central ladder and made my way to the place where this all began, the top of the dome. Climbing the ladder, I had feared that I may have missed the sunrise, signifying the end of the final day. Exiting the dome, I find myself with a mere few seconds to set up for this final dawn. The sun slowly rises past the horizon, and the 100 days are over. And now it's time to say goodbye to one of the most reliable friends I've had over the past 2 years. Goodbye, Minecraft Alpha. It's over. It's done. My time in Alpha is over. Wow. Goodbye, Alpha. I've gotten so much done in these 100 days, digging out the entire southeast and southwest areas, making use of the southeast area to turn into a farm, as well as building an interior for the tree and improving the dome. And with that comes the end of the episode 6, 100 days.